What's goody, guys? Welcome to the third episode of OTB Podcast. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Great,
Doing good. I'm
great.
excited for this episode.
Great. Now all of us can hear each other now.
My bad.
Yeah, it's all good. I just want to say thank you guys for all the support we're having with these podcasts. It takes a lot of effort, time, and just a lot of energy in general to make these. And your support really helps us motivate us to make more.
Yeah.
As long as we have our passion for basketball, for sports in general, I don't think this podcast is going anywhere.
Yep.
I think you guys are stuck with me for the next 30 years talking about basketball. So
Yeah. Guys, specifically for that last interview we did, we got a lot of support for that. So if you guys want to see more, let us know in the comments.
Or
Yeah.
just
who you guys want to see.
tag your
Let us know.
favorite player.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Our OTB goal one day is to have an interview with JaVale McGee. So
Yeah, my favorite player.
that's just if we just get him, I don't mind quitting.
The thing
And
is, we would put JaVale at our number one spot, but he's so OP that we can't even put him on the list.
Exactly.
Yeah, speaking of number one, our thing that we're going to go straight into is top 10 all-time basketball players.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get to it.
Starting off with number one.
I think we all agree, MJ.
Yeah, MJ.
MJ for sure. Michael Jordan.
6-time champion.
No explanation
5-time
really needed.
6-0,
No explanation.
double
Honestly, the
three-peat.
statistics say it all. And yeah.
Barely any.
One and number two, I believe we can all agree on is
LeBron.
the king.
LeBron
Yeah.
James.
LeBron.
James. So here's what it gets interesting.
Let's go person by person.
I just want to explain why LeBron James for a second. I think it's again self-explanatory, but like he's currently 35. I think he's the 9th oldest person in the league right now, but still like one of the best people in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
So which is like just amazing. The type of person he is. He's not a normal human being. We all know that.
Now we all know that Vipul and Raquel both hate LeBron with a passion.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
But they can't deny his greatness.
We respect him.
Yeah.
I can't deny
can't
his
deny his
success
greatness.
and that he
I
had.
don't hate him. Look. I respect his game. I just
Vipul, you hate him, though.
It's not one of my favorites.
I don't hate him. I just don't like him.
No.
That's it.
I
You
feel like
don't
the reason
like
why
him.
you hate him is because you're a Dirk fan, and the Dirk versus Miami LeBron. Same reason why I guess I don't like him that much because Celtics. He always gets in the Celtics way and blah blah blah. But there's other reasons I have for not liking him, but I still respect his game.
Facts.
Second.
Number 3. What do you guys have?
Let's go person by person. Raquel, you go first.
All right, my number 3 spot, I have Kareem.
That's
Me
the same.
too,
I
me
put
too.
Kareem.
Same.
All right.
What do you mean?
So
what do you have?
So just to summarize, wait, what?
No.
What do you
No,
have?
keep going.
All right, so just to summarize his career, 6 rings, 6 MVPs, 19-time All-Star, which people criticize Kareem for saying that he played during a league that wasn't that good at the time, but
I hate when people say that.
Yeah,
right?
I don't really like
Can we
that.
just?
I don't really
I
like
just
that.
want to say, can we just respect each other's generations?
But
Mhm.
to
Basketball.
continue his summary of his career, 5-time NBA defensive first team, 6-time NBA defensive second team. He was not the average center. He was very agile. He was famous for his little sky hook that he did.
Yeah.
That was cool. And yeah, just to summarize Kareem, he's on top 5. What is he? He's first place.
Yeah, all
He
time.
invented that sky hook, by the
All-time
way.
scoring points.
Mm-hmm.
He's like
Second
third in
place is
rebounds.
LeBron, I think. And so, yeah.
And one more
My
thing
summary
about
for him.
Kareem, he has the longest span of winning finals MVP. I think I forget how many years it was, but do any of you guys remember how much it was?
From it's like from his first Finals MVP to his last Finals MVP.
Yeah.
It's a 10-year span.
No, it's more
Like,
than 10, I think.
It's more than 10.
MVP 600.
There's like
But yeah, I feel like more people should talk about Kareem. I don't know why people don't talk about him that much.
Now here's the thing, right? People claim that he played in a weak era. That's because no one, quite frankly, no one remembers the 70s.
But the thing is, if you look at his game, he was truly ahead of his time. He had
definitely.
great
This is
skills.
the thing.
His
this is the
2
thing with
final
Kareem.
MVPs came 14 years apart.
I'm sure if Kareem
That's
played
insane.
in a better league, he would
Mhm.
still put up amazing numbers, amazing
No,
stats.
that's the
amazing
thing, though.
MVPs,
That's the thing, though.
Finals, everything.
He didn't play in a bad league. People talk about the ABA and NBA merger, how he won
Oh,
before
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
But here's the thing: when they both merged, his statistics, his stats still remained dominant. He was still the most dominant player in the 70s. No one could touch his stats or his
Yeah, they
dominance,
literally
the way
made
he-
an article saying like, can basketball survive Lou Alcindor?
Lou Alcindor, because he was too OP. They literally had to ban dunking in college.
Yeah, he was the best college
Just to
basketball
make
player
it
we've
fair.
ever seen. Like,
Crazy.
But even keeping it in NBA terms, this man was so dominant throughout the 70s that, like, no one recognized any other player. He was the face of the league, but the fact of the matter was he was not a charismatic person or, like, a huge, large figure.
not like Magic.
Basketball type figure, not like Magic. That's why no one remembers him or the 70s because, quite frankly, the 70s just wasn't memorable. But you can't deny the fact that he had to face insane competition. Like, for example,
for sure,
John Havlicek and the Celtics.
Hey,
he had to Wes Unseld and the Wizards.
Appreciate the shout out.
No problem, bro. The Sonics, the Nuggets, David Thompson and the Nuggets.
Wilt too, right?
George Gervin, Wilt and Jerry West, exactly.
Yeah.
He had to go through a lot to
and even
accomplish what he
Bird and his
accomplished.
Celtics were like came to the end of his career.
Exactly. And plus, here's the thing. A lot of people say throughout the 80s he got carried. But the fact of the matter is, for two of the five championships, I'm confident in saying that Kareem was the best player on that team. The first championship, Kareem just didn't win out on Finals MVP because of the foot injury.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If he didn't have that,
And everyone remembers
Kareem
Magic's
definitely would have
game.
had the Finals MVP over Magic.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers Magic's game 6.
Everyone just remembers,
center, dropped 44, 15, 7 or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
But
it was power forward, by the way, not center.
It was center, I'm pretty sure. But either way, Kareem was the one who put them in that situation in the first place. So if he didn't go down with that injury, I'm not saying Magic shouldn't have won Finals MVP. I'm just saying Kareem was the best player on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Or like one of their final championships where Kareem won Finals MVP again, best player on that in the finals that year.
Mm-hmm.
He was not carried by Magic. He was second place to Magic for sure. Magic was definitely the best player on those teams, but you can't deny without Kareem there is no Showtime.
Yeah, and we're not disrespecting Magic when we say that. He's still a
of course.
Because
I'm sure he'll be on our top 10 list.
He's coming soon.
He's coming soon.
All right, go ahead. Now a number.
I feel like it moves on
4.
to number 4.
Ooh, okay. What order are we doing this? Am I going first?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right, so for my number 4, I have a surprising one. I'm not sure if you guys will agree with it or not, but my number 4, I have Larry Bird.
Ooh, okay.
Interesting.
Okay, keep going.
So
let's go Mont, then Vipple, then me.
Okay, so for my number 4, I have Magic Johnson.
Ooh, okay.
Speaking of him.
Okay.
My number 4, I put Bill Russell.
Ooh.
Go ahead, Vikram.
My number 4, I have Magic Johnson.
Yeah, sir.
Okay.
All right, go ahead with the explanation.
So, one of the main criticisms of Larry Bird is that he had a short prime. But if you look at his other seasons, he still put up great numbers. I don't understand this criticism of him.
He indeed had a very dominant
I can't
season.
deny
But
that.
talk about his game. He obviously had a rivalry with Magic, blah, blah, blah. But he also had a high basketball IQ. He was a great scorer, very elusive. And, he was like I feel like I don't really have to explain about Larry Bird. It's pretty good.
I mean, you do because all of us.
Yeah.
So
he almost averaged 31 steals.
Rakil, I would like to hear your argument on why you would put him over Magic Johnson when Magic Johnson had a clear advantage in finals victories to Larry Bird.
That's why I gave him the slight edge.
We'll get to that when I talk about Magic.
For my thing, I put Bill Russell somehow. I see how look at his stats. His career average was 15.1 points per game, right? But I feel like when you rank a player, right, you got to look at the success they had.
Exactly. Yep.
5 times MVP, 11-time All-NBA All-Star, 11-time champion.
That's the biggest thing.
He is the face. If you think about it, I think Bill Russell is the face of the Celtics organization, right?
He just happened to play in the 60s, the organization where they didn't have that much.
I think again, look, you're just looking at the generation, right?
Yeah,
but you got to think about how these players were trained in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like do you think Curry is one of the top 20 NBA players of all time?
Yeah, I do believe that.
Do you think Curry would have survived in MJ's era?
No. Not really.
How they played, the rules that they had. Do you think he would have been at least top 30 in the league?
I think I mean, looking at players like Petrovic and people like that, I think Curry would have been like top 15, but I don't think he would have been what he would be now.
Yeah, of course. So if you think about it like that, then Bill Russell could
He was
be
truly ahead of his time.
Yeah, Bill Russell was extremely ahead of his time, and like with the success he had with the face that he gave to the Celtics organization, he kind of like built that. He built the Celtics in making it one of the top teams in the world right now, or in the NBA in general, right? So
I can't deny this. The Celtics are some of the greatest franchises in sports history.
I mean, Bill Russell is part of the reason why we're even relevant in the rivalry against the Lakers. So
Bill Russell is the biggest reason why the Celtics
always gotta. You can't have a top 10 without Bill Russell.
He's the biggest reason why Celtics fans flex their wins in general, right? He's the reason why Celtics fans are Celtics fans of what they are today.
Yeah, we love Bill Russell, dude.
With the big impact that Bill Russell had, I think he's top 4. I mean, he's 4.
I respect you guys' picks. I respect them.
Okay, let's move on to number 5 then. Raquel, who do you have?
Wait, Vikram, we have never explained.
That's true. Hamant, I feel like you should explain.
Oh, yeah.
Let me go ahead and begin. All right. So really, number 4 came down to Larry Bird or Magic Johnson, right? I'll explain later why I left out the others. But Magic Johnson, to me, when people rank Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, you know, the argument people usually use for Larry being over Magic was Magic had more help. But you got to understand,
he had Kareem.
Like I said when explaining Kareem's dominance, Magic was still the best player on that Lakers team.
Exactly.
Without Kareem, there's no Showtime. But without Magic, there's no Showtime.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other.
Magic was the orchestrator of Showtime. Like, the Lakers were so dominant just because, even though he didn't put up that many points or things like that.
He didn't need to.
He didn't need to. He's just that impactful on the offensive end with his team passing and
amazing teammate.
Amazing teammate, great, incredible leader, and to me, the whole help argument. I feel like Magic definitely did have more help, but the difference between their help, like Larry Bird had Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish, right? Mm-hmm. Both are incredible players.
Amazing players, yeah.
Magic had James Worthy and Kareem, right?
Mm-hmm. Also great players.
Clearly, Kareem is better than Larry's help, right? But I don't think it's that massive of a discrepancy that you would just flat out put Larry, say that Larry had no help compared to Magic. Both of them had a lot of help, actually. Magic just happened to win a lot more with slightly more help. That's why I have Magic over Larry.
I also feel like Magic never had HIV. Like right when he got his diagnosis, he was like, I think at his peak or like near his peak or something like that. Uh-huh. If he never got that diagnosis or just never had HIV, I feel like he'd be he'd be higher on this list.
You also can't forget the 91 finals. Yeah. How they didn't have Kareem yet they still made the finals.
Yeah.
Who was the reason behind that? Was Magic, you know? What is he? A 5-time NBA champion, 3-time Finals MVP. Mm-hmm. 3-time MVP.
MVP, normal MVP, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Insane career accomplishments, and even the context behind that, all of that points to Magic being a dominant player in his era. Probably the best. Mm-hmm. Probably the best in his era.
Yep.
And number 5, go ahead, Raquel.
That's why I put Magic. You know, the reason that you gave.
So at my number 5 spots, I have Kobe Bryant.
Ooh.
What?
The mama.
Okay.
Me, number 5?
Yep.
Yeah, so like I said, Magic and Larry, they're so close in talent and accomplishments that they have to be together in my list. So Larry is my number 5. Larry Bird is my number 5.
Whipple?
I put Magic Johnson. Same reasons that you guys said before about, again, the famous carry by Magic Johnson when Kareem was out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's a great player. Kind of led this Lakers organization to be what it is today.
What about you?
Well, just like you, Hamant, I got Larry Bird at number 5. I think he's the most clutch player the NBA has ever seen.
For sure.
Larry Bird, you know what? I'll have to agree with that. Larry Bird is the most clutch player the NBA has ever seen.
You got to have Larry Bird at your top 5, for sure, without a doubt.
Well, Raquel, why don't you explain your reasoning?
All right, so, Kobe, that's pretty self-explanatory for Kobe. I feel like a lot of people put him at number 3. That's a little too high for me, though. Summarize Kobe's career: 5 rings, 3-time MVP, 2-time Finals MVP.
Wait. 3-time MVP?
3-time. He's 1-time MVP, buddy.
Kobe was a 1-time MVP.
He's a 1-timer.
That might be a typo, but 2-time Finals MVP. I think that's what I meant. 2-time Final MVP. That might have been a typo. I just put him high because of his skill, his mentality, his legacy. That run he had with Shaq, where they three-peated. You can't disrespect the greatness of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Yes, Kobe was not carried by Shaq.
It's the other way around.
People who say that.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
It's the other way around.
Shaq was the best player on that team, but
you don't have that team without Kobe.
You don't have that team without Kobe. Kobe was just as dominant, even though Shaq was the best player. But still, what about you, Biffle? Oh, yeah, you already explained it, right? The reasoning behind that. So here's my reasoning behind Bird, right? Like Vikram said, Bird, I think, is the most clutch player in NBA history. And yeah, he did accomplish a lot. He accomplished almost as much as Magic with just slightly less help, I think. And he did have his dominance was short, but the short window that he was dominant was just like insane.
For sure.
Since Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, he was the only player to win 3 straight MVPs, right? No one has done that since Bird. And people disrespect his defense a lot, but
that's facts.
That's just not true. Like,
it's kind of
Larry Bird put so much effort on the defensive end. The fact of the matter is he was such like a smart defender. He might not have been physically that imposing or had the quickness or things like that, but his IQ was off the charts when it came to the defensive and offensive end. And that's what made him a great defender.
If you look at a tape, he sees plays happening before they happen.
Exactly. Like, you got to think about his all-time clutch plays. One of them is defensive, steal by Bird.
Yeah.
You can't forget that. Stole the inbound pass.
Don't remind me of that.
I had a lot of fun looking at Larry Bird's tapes. It was really nice.
That was against the Pistons.
And that is my reasoning. Him and Magic, most dominant players of the 80s. And their accomplishments were just so insane that I had to...
Even dates back to
I
college,
had to put them side by side.
Michigan State versus Indiana.
Yeah, even dates back to college. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And so, what about you, Vikram? Your reasonings behind
Like I said, most clutch player the NBA has ever seen. I even though it pains me to think of when he stole that ball from Isaiah Thomas in the inbound pass, I can't deny just how clutch he was. His accomplishments, like you said, a little bit above him is just the longevity. I feel like it's Bird can't really control that. It sucks that he got injured, but I still have to make that factor when I think about who's better. And I just feel Magic had just the slight edge in that department. So,
okay,
I have to agree. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to number 6.
So,
Arkil, who do you have?
Number 6.
All right, my number 6, the legend, the one and only, Bill Russell.
Okay.
Hold on, Raquel. I already got problems with your list, buddy.
Where's Magic?
I'll tell you where Magic is.
It's been a long time since I've seen Magic.
He's coming. Trust me.
All right, so
next person.
A little controversial, but I got my explanation. So here's the thing for me. Number 6 and number 7, they're interchangeable, right?
Okay.
You can put my 7 over my 6, and I wouldn't argue with you.
Okay.
But I believe that my number 6 has a slight advantage, and I'll get to that later. But my number 6 is Tim. My number 6 is Tim Duncan.
Oh no!
All right, Vipul, who do you have?
It's respectable. Vipul.
Hello. Oh no.
Oh no.
All right, fine. Once he's back,
I have
go ahead,
Wilt
Victor.
Chamberlain at number 6.
Wilt
Okay.
Chamberlain. Okay.
So,
Respectable.
the pool.
You know what? I want to hear the Wilt one.
Okay.
Sounds
I actually
very
did some research. I did a bit more research on Wilt. So,
Wilt's very interesting in the top
Wilt,
10 aspect wise.
looking at just purely statistical wise, I think he's the best player. Just hold on, Vipul's texting.
Okay, but there's a little bit of a back. Vipul's he's saying.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vikram. We are having a couple technical difficulties right now.
We'll be right back with you guys.
So, Raquel, you want to go ahead with your number 6?
We're restarting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry for the technical difficulty, guys.
We're back now. We're back.
Kind of cut off, but so I just restart. Say whoever mine was.
Yeah.
All right, my number 6. I have Bill Russell, a Celtics legend. Kind of self-explanatory, but yeah.
Go ahead, Vikram. Yours.
I have Wilt Chamberlain at number 6, actually.
Okay.
And
That's a really good one, actually. I put Larry Bird.
Okay.
Larry Bird.
Okay. And Hamant.
Like I said earlier, Tim Duncan.
Okay.
Should I tell you something? Jason's gonna love you for that.
This is probably the most controversial one, and I'll explain later why. I'll explain why I have Tim Duncan so high.
Around 6 to 10 is where people start wavering a little bit. But,
Yeah.
To explain my Bill Russell pick, 11 rings, Celtics legend. He was around back when they didn't even record that many defensive stats, but he was amazing on defense.
Blocks and steals.
If you look at the tape, he was amazing on defense.
He'd probably be number 1 in blocks all time if they did record blocks.
Yeah.
He was able to drive to the basket. He was a great rebounder. A little fun fact I have is that in 1965 postseason, he averaged 27.7 rebounds. 27.7 rebounds.
That's insane.
How do you, I don't understand how that's possible, but
that is insane.
That's not even the greatest thing about him. The greatest thing, hands down, is 11 rings. He's just a legend.
Agreed. I have him a little lower, but I can respect that argument. So you guys want to hear the Tim Duncan one, or maybe we should save the best for last?
I think the best for last will be Wilt.
I think Hamant will have a better explanation. So, Vipul, why don't you go? Tell us why you have Bird here.
Well, again, like you guys said, no explanation. He's way ahead of his time. I feel like the only reason why I put him at 6 was because Bill Russell got in my way as number 3.
But you agree with me, right? Like Bird and Magic are they have to be together.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah, I don't mind them getting switched around because both of them were dominant people.
But they have to be
like one after another.
Like one after another.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I put Magic Johnson as.
Take notes, Raquel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raquel. I'm still waiting on Magic, bro.
I don't know where your Magic is.
Yeah, Raquel, what happened with...
He's coming. I have an explanation.
I'm gonna go on you so hard, dude. If he's not after who'd you put as number 7?
Are we getting to that?
I mean number 6.
Well, not yet. We'll get to that later.
Wait, who'd you put as number 6 right now?
Bill Russell.
Okay, if he's not after Bill Russell, then I'm gonna have some
I have proof that I'm not editing my list, and I'll show you guys where I have him. I'll send you guys a picture right now that where I have Magic.
No, don't send it. Keep that surprise. Larry Bird, self-explanatory. Why he is up there. So yeah, moving on. Vikram.
Okay, so I have Wilt here.
See, look, that was like a perfect one.
Statistically, let me say what he did. Highest points per game in a season, most points in a season, most rebounds in a season, only center to lead the league in assists, most points in a game, all-time leader in rebounds. He was an MVP in his rookie year. More points per game and rebounds than Bill Russell. Okay, so now I'm going to explain why I have him above Bill Russell.
Oh, yeah, also the 50 other...
that's just like scratching the surface of what he did.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Hey, don't forget about 100,000.
Oh, yeah.
If you know, you know.
That's the best stat out there.
If you know, you know.
Okay, so you might be wondering why I have him above Bill Russell.
Yes.
Russell had more time. I feel like Russell just had a bit more talent around him than Wilt did. Like Russell played with Bob Cousy, who was an MVP, John Havlicek, and Sam Jones, who was an All-Star. And just generally, Bill Russell had better coaches than Wilt did. Wilt finally started to win when he got better coaches, though, in like the late, I think it was the late 70s, or the early 70s, sorry.
Can I talk about why I don't have Wilt as high?
Yeah, I have one more thing to say, but you can go ahead.
So the main criticism I have of Wilt is that he just sure, okay. I just don't like it when people look at stats and say, "Oh, this is the best player. This is amazing." He's he puts up amazing stats.
You can't ignore stats though.
He averaged 50 one season. Like it's amazing stats. But
That's probably never going to happen.
You also have to look at the context of the stats.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many rule changes that he forced. He had like a weird, funky looking free throw shooting thing.
That's true.
He couldn't close games that much. In a way, his team was better without him. He wasn't that great of a teammate. He wouldn't pass the ball. He was kind of a ball hog.
Will did become better of a teammate towards the end of his career, though, and that's when he started to win his chips.
But, I don't know. I feel like I value being a good teammate because he was kind of a ball hog and selfish.
I guess, yeah.
I feel like kind of inflates his stats a little bit. So, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when they needed a closer, they wouldn't go to Wilt.
Yeah, I can see that. But Raquel, you mentioned like all the rule changes that happened. So I want to talk about like who Bill Russell played and like how he played in that era. So in Bill Russell, his team was almost always the first seed. The Celtics were almost always the first seed whenever they like made the playoffs. And in that era, that meant they wouldn't have to play in the first round. They just automatically advanced to the division finals, which was the second round. So they only had to play two rounds up until 1967 when the rules changed. That means they had less teams to play against and less games to play, so their players were better rested, and they didn't have to face as much like competition. When the playoff format in 1967 to accommodate more teams, meaning Boston had to play in the first round, they lost to Philly in the second round, led by Wilt.
Well, I can use the same argument against Wilt. Wilt lived during a time where they had the whole 3 attempts for 2, where they're trying to get people to have less fouls when games are ending. So they said, okay, if you get fouled and then you're gonna have three chances to hit 2 free throws. So I guess you can say that Wilt's stats are even more inflated because of that. And also another criticism I have of Wilt is that most of his ability was just that he used his size to dominate. Oh, excuse the voice crack. He used his size to dominate.
Well, I mean, can you fault him for that though?
Yeah, how could you?
No,
taking advantage of an.
I mean, would you not use that?
You're saying Steph Curry? He's an unprecedented 3-point shooter. But he's like, you know what? I feel like I'm taking too much advantage with my 3-point. I'm gonna stop doing that. You think he'd do that?
No, but I value skill more than physical.
Size skill though. Using your size.
Helps your skill.
Okay, for example, Taco Fall. He's the biggest.
It shouldn't really matter how you do it, as long as you get it done.
Yeah.
I think that's what should matter.
I feel like that's one of my.
Raquel, in a way, size is too.
I mean, James Harden's considered one of top 5 scorers of all time, but I just don't like the way he scores.
But he still gets it done.
Because I said earlier, Wilt lived during a time where they had the whole 3 for 2 thing, and so his stats are obviously. Although he was a terrible free throw shooter, his stats are slightly inflated because of these things that happened.
Of course,
during the same period too, so his stats were inflated just as well.
Yes, but he had skill. He was truly ahead of his time. He was amazing deep.
You can't say Wilt had no skill though.
Well, I'm not saying he had no skill. I'm just saying that he relied
on his size and skill. How much of a dominant force he was. You can't deny.
I think Raquel is just trying to say people rank him too high because of his stats, but his stats somehow.
I get what you're saying. You can't look at stats for the whole picture.
Their skills in their game rather than stats. Because one of the main criticisms of James Harden is that he puts up amazing stats, but then doesn't win championships. You know what I'm saying?
That is.
And
I
am labeled. For those who don't know, I am labeled as the James Harden hater.
Mm-hmm. I think you mentioned this in the past 2 podcasts.
every podcast, I have to hate on James Harden, dude.
But Raquel,
podcast, even though it might not have nothing to do with James Harden, you gotta bring him up, man.
Raquel, I do get what you're saying though, because I can see having Bill Russell above him, but personally, I wouldn't. But I can see because near the end of his career, he had a better coach, and that coach preached like, okay, you got to be less selfish with your offensive game.
Yeah.
Wilt took that to heart. His numbers went down, but his team drastically improved, and that's why he won a championship. So I can see that argument, but just personally, I'd have him above Russell.
Respectable.
All right.
So, my turn?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Tim Duncan. Where do we start, man? See, there's a lot of things about Tim Duncan that just go unnoticed. That's just because of it's kind of like the whole Kareem situation. He was such like a silent player.
True.
Wasn't flashy at all. Wasn't really didn't really sign like, I don't know, massive shoe deals, things like that.
The box office appeal wasn't that.
No, he wasn't in any drama at all.
He wasn't a box office player, but you know what he was, Raquel? He was the one thing that you preach over stats. He was an amazing team player.
Let me clear up what happened before the podcast happened. It was a miscommunication where I thought Hamant was going to put him in the top 5, and I yelled at him for saying no, do not put him in your top 5. I did not know that he meant top 10. Okay, so I respect Tim Duncan. I'm just going to say that. Really
okay, well, I know everyone respects Tim Duncan, but
I just thought you were going to put him in his top 5, and I was like, no way that's possible. You cannot put him in the top 5.
Here's the thing. I still feel like people, even though people have that respect to put him in the top 10, people still underrate him. You know what I'm saying? Like when people say they put Tim Duncan in the top 10, they're like, oh, I'm going to put Tim Duncan barely in the top 10, right? That's just not true. Tim Duncan, let's compare him to Kobe Bryant, who you guys, I know, also must have pretty high in the list, right? And they played in the same era. Both 5-time champions, except one has won 3 Finals MVPs to 2. One of them is a one-time MVP. Tim Duncan has 2 MVPs over 1. Timmy D was also, an all-time top 5 defender of all time. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. For sure.
Probably top 3 paint defender of all time. We can definitely agree on that.
He leads the league in blocks, like in the playoffs, I think.
Like many times. And you might think, oh, there could be context behind those Finals MVPs. Well, the fact of the matter is, there is context, but all the context supports Tim Duncan's case. In 1999, when he was named the Finals MVP, that was not David Robinson's team. No matter which way you cut it, that was Tim Duncan's team. He was the best player on that team. David Robinson was coming back from a back injury.
Just curious, but I guess people criticized Tim Duncan for saying he had a top coach of all time in Popovich. So what do you have to say about people saying that, oh, he's only that great because of the coach?
Oh man, that argument, I just don't buy it, man. Like the coach does not make the player. The coach does not make the team. He can raise the team, he can raise the team ceiling, but at the end of the day, the players are the ones that truly win championships. Yeah. It's not the coaches. It's not the organizations, like Gary Krause said. It is the players.
I just wanted to bring that up so that we can.
What good is a coach without his players?
Yeah. And that's not even a knock towards Pop. He's an amazing coach. He's an amazing coach.
Yeah, incredible coach. It's just that Tim Duncan is the reason they have those championships. So he wasn't that statistically dominant, like Bill Russell, right? At least you might not think he's that statistically dominant, at least not in the regular season. But once we went to the playoffs, man, I got a stat for you guys. So in the
I know what stat you're gonna bring up.
In the '99 finals, this man averaged 21 points, around 18 rebounds, 3 or 5 assists, and 5 blocks a game. 5 blocks a game. This was in the finals, by the way. He showed up when it really mattered. The regular season, he put up stats, but that wasn't really where he was truly showing off his talent, right? It was the postseason. It was the finals. Timmy D was so dominant in the finals that he's the reason why they have so many chips. In 2007, I know Tony Parker won the championship, but can you tell me that if you replaced Tim Duncan with Kevin Garnett, they would still have that championship? I wouldn't say so.
Not really, no.
Tim Duncan was just that type of player.
Would you?
He elevated his.
No, for real not.
He elevated his teammates. He was amazing on defense. He was their defensive anchor, and I just think just throughout his entire career, like compared to all the rest of the legends, he had such like he didn't even have that much help. If you think about it, when he won his first 2 championships, like I said, David Robinson coming off that back injury wasn't himself. Second championship, I believe it was Manu Ginobili's rookie year and Tony Parker's like second year or something. They were barely averaging like 10 points in the finals. And another fact is Tim Duncan also played in like the toughest conference in NBA history. And I can say that with confidence. The 2000 Western Conference was a bloodbath. The whole thing. Mm-hmm. And Tim Duncan, to win his championships, he had to go through teams like the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, Kevin Garnett's Wolves, Steve Nash's Suns, Dirk Nowitzki's Mavs.
Oh my God.
And then in the finals, who he had to play against.
That's a good point. I never thought about it that way. I mean, obviously, I knew that happened, but yeah. Sure.
So I think combined with the competition that he faced and the little help that he had towards the beginning of his, obviously towards the end, the help got better. He wasn't the best player for his final championship, but the fact of the matter is, for a majority of the championships that he won, he didn't have as much help that people would like to say, and he played in an insane Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And
his 2005 championship was
that was a really good
underrated,
explanation.
I feel. But
yeah. So you ready for number 7?
Yeah, let's go. Raquel, you go up.
My number 7, and once again, I have proof that I'm not editing my list. Number 7, I have Magic.
Finally.
All right.
Montu, who do you have?
Dude, you sound like you're going to put him as like number 10 or something.
No. Best point guard ever, and I'm going to put him at number 10? No.
All right. Montu, who do you have at number 7? Oh, no.
Oh, no, not again. We can't refilm this, no.
I'm so...
Oh,
Montu, are you there?
All right.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, this is going to be so annoying. We're going to have like 40 different clips.
All right, we'll be right back, guys.
Harambe.
Cookies today.
All right, sorry guys.
Yeah.
This is sorry for all the weird, awkward cuts. This is our second weird cut, so this is our third time re-recording
actually.
this.
Yeah.
We're having some weird technical difficulties, so yeah. All right, so continue.
Well, that's about it. I think that is my reasoning for putting Tim Duncan at number 6.
Oh, we're talking about that.
We're talking about number 7.
We're on 7 now.
Okay.
We're just gonna cut it like yeah.
All right.
My number 7, Kobe Bryant.
Ooh. Oh yeah. Okay. Where have you guys been? You guys haven't said Kobe Bryant at all. What the heck?
I don't know.
Put Kobe at my number. What was it? Number 5, I think.
Yeah, I think yours was 5.
You guys disrespecting Kobe.
Yeah, I think I am.
Dang.
Yeah.
I feel bad, but like, I didn't know where else to put him. So
I'm the only one that has him that high. Dang.
Here's my thing with Kobe, right? He's my favorite player of all time, and I know a lot of people would put him a lot higher. So I don't really need to
for sure.
Why he's in the list. I need to more so explain why I have him so low.
He's my favorite Lakers player for sure.
So the reason I have him so low is because, well, for his first 3 titles, he was not the best player on that championship team. You can't deny that. If you're going to be an all-time great, you have to be. I think you'd have to be the greatest player, the best player for a majority of your championships. And Kobe was without Kobe, there is no Lakers in the early 2000s, but it was still not his team. That was Shaq's team, for one. You also got to look at the fact that after Shaq left, Kobe really struggled to get back into prominence, especially getting to the finals in 2008. It was a long road to get there after Shaq left, and all his accomplishments, we know his accomplishments, right? Incredible accomplishments. I don't really need to explain much. All I need to explain is why I have him so low, and I believe that's my reason. He had a lot of help throughout his career, and clearly the final 2, he didn't have that much help. The final 2 championships, and that's why he's so great. But just the fact that Shaq was the main reason for them having 3 championships. I think that's why I have to rank Kobe a little bit lower than most people would like.
Okay, it's respectable.
Yeah. Brickhill, you said you had Magic Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Why Magic Johnson so
low? Well, first let's get through everyone else's.
Okay. And
then I'll explain. I promise I'll explain.
Wilt Chamberlain, the Big Dipper, like Vikram said, 100 points in a single game.
Come on, dude.
Calm down, wait. He averaged 50 points for a full season. Like, I know you talked about the stat inflation, right? But like Vikram said, like, why didn't Bill Russell do that, right?
Okay, well, we're not going to get in this argument over and over again. But...
And then, like, he just has monster stats,
I don't
dude.
like when people look at stats, dude.
But you can't deny...
Yes,
you can't deny these stats, though. Some stats...
There's a lack of skill.
If a person makes 200 points in a single game, you can't just say, don't look at stats.
Using his size to dunk on people.
Dude, a size? Okay, if you think about it, right?
It's not a nod.
If you think about it.
Okay,
if you think about this, right? Size is a skill. If we talk about today's league, Taco Fall, who's like one of the biggest people in the league right now, right?
Watching.
I'm not watching right now because you're disrespecting a legend here. This man, okay, Taco Fall, tallest man in the league, right? But he can't use his size properly. Size is a skill, or else he would have been as good as Wilt Chamberlain, right? If you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
No,
this man is literally a monster on court.
In today's league, people have a lot more bigger size than they did back then. But continue.
Okay, but why wouldn't you take advantage of a league that's undersized compared to you?
I'm just saying I value skill more.
Skill comes
with
skill,
though. Think about it. Let's say freaking Bo Johnson. Let's say he had size. He could do the same things.
Well, no, then he would rely more on his
He'd be a completely different player then.
I feel like we're going in circles. But
whatever.
The point is, it doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you get it done.
Facts.
But there's also other things that I criticize him for.
Wilt Chamberlain is basically the Babe Ruth of basketball.
I criticize him for other things like inflation, rule changes, all these weird rules that he faced, stuff like that.
I mean, if it was inflation, then you'll see other players like him have monstrous stats.
The fact that he was the only one in his era to do that is insane.
Exactly.
We're going in circles, but continue.
But yeah, that's it. Just the stat king himself. I know Rico hates saying that, but
Rico hates
stats. New fact of the day. New OTB fact of the day. Rico
I don't hate stats. I love stats.
Rico, you're taking stat next year. So.
I am taking AT stat next year.
All right, and so what's next? Oh yeah, my did everyone else say their number 7s?
I have Bill Russell at number 7.
Bill Russell. Got it. Right.
So, to explain why I have Magic on my number 7, if you guys all put Larry Bird and Magic at the same place, but I just think Kobe and Bill Russell, who are my 5 and 6, are much better than Magic Johnson, like legacy-wise, rings-wise, skill-wise. I mean, whatever. They have different skills. You know, Bill Russell was amazing on the defense and rebounding. Magic was great on the assisting and the passing. Well, that's the same thing. Well, not really, but you know what I mean. But, Magic Johnson, my best point guard. He's my number 1 point guard, without a doubt. But, I just think that I would have him higher, but I have to respect Kobe and Bill Russell more.
I said
I respectfully disagree with all that.
I have to be honest, because my like 5 through 7 is interchangeable, to be honest. I'm not standing saying like, oh, this is what has to be my list. No, my 5
through 7. That's a big stretch for you.
Yeah, guys, my 1 through 10 is pretty interchangeable. So.
Okay, maybe 6 through 7. I gotta keep Kobe where he is. I don't know. This is hard. This is very hard. We were talking about this earlier. Making this list is so hard.
All time is just extremely hard because you got to take account of generations, of
rules, skills, stats.
Should we get to our number 8s?
Yeah, sure.
CEO,
number 8, and I have to give a little disclaimer with this. This is very controversial. The way I'm making my list is when I'm saying with current players when they retire, this is my prediction for where they will be on the top 10 all time. So just want to get that out of the way before I say mine. But on my number 8, I have Kevin Durant.
Oh, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on, buddy. Calm down.
Okay, Ricky, I have a question. You talked about a huge thing about legacy when you brought up Kobe Bryant, right? What legacy did KD bring?
Yeah, we don't
in
even
his
know what
career?
he's gonna do with the rest of his
I'm
career.
gonna get to that.
Like, how could you
Okay.
rank him? Like,
No, get to that right
Okay.
now if you want.
Okay. Kevin Durant, when he was with OKC, was an amazing player. I just watched the game with him against the Mavs. They're double teaming him. He was still putting up great points.
man, they used to double
passing the
team
ball.
Kobe all the
Really
time.
nice.
You're
Come
acting
on,
like
man.
no one
They
else
had the
gets double
best.
teamed.
They
I
had
do
the
not
best
like-
offensive team in the
I
league,
do
though.
not like that he went to the
What do you
Warriors.
mean?
That was a weak move. I agree with Stephen A.
It literally destroyed his
It did
whole
destroy his
legacy,
legacy.
dog.
But
We're not.
I predict that he's gonna come back from his Achilles injury and lead the Nets, and they're gonna do damage in
I'm
the
sorry,
Eastern
he
Conference.
still
And
wouldn't be in my top 10.
Raquel, do you think
No,
they'll win a championship
He's
like the
not.
Nets?
It depends. I think they have a good shot.
You
at it. I mean,
cannot put them top 10 if
Hey.
they don't win a championship.
Rodney Pryor agrees with me, but I think he can get it done. He's gonna come back. He's gonna come back from his Achilles.
Even if he
injury.
gets
I
it done,
guarantee
I'm not gonna put him.
He
in the
had
top 10.
amazing stats before,
Mhm.
and I feel like even like a lot of people say, even at an 80%, Kevin Durant is can still lead a team to a championship and to a ring.
But will he?
If we're ranking players purely based on skill, KD is top 5 for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
There's more
amazing
to it than
sport.
skill, though.
there's more to it than just
I
skill, you
just-
know? I know you
I
respect
just
skill
hate
a
that
lot.
he went to the Warriors. I hate it so much that he went to the Warriors. But I don't know. I just think he's gonna rebound.
I know people say KD is the best player on those Warriors teams, which he was, yeah, for a
He
majority,
was.
but KD wouldn't be doing all that without Curry, man. Curry's
I
gravity
think he's
is what
gonna
allows
come back
KD.
from his Achilles injury and solidify his legacy, and that's why I have him on my number 8 spot.
Are you a KD fan?
No, absolutely not.
It's like you're liking snakes a little too much,
Raquel was
buddy.
hoping KD
No,
would come to the
no.
Celtics.
I don't.
Dude,
No,
Raquel, but
I don't like KD. I don't like Kyrie. I don't like any of them. But I have to respect it.
You're respecting
I'm
him a
sorry,
bit too
Raquel.
much, Raquel.
I wouldn't put
Let me
KD
just
in
say-
my top 10.
Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players of all time. I
If-
understand
If
that,
he
right?
did not get injured,
Raquel,
he would.
you understand, by you putting him there, you're basically putting him above players like Tim Duncan, Shaq,
Hakeem.
The thing is,
D-Wade.
This is my prediction for when he retires. Not right now, but when he
I still think
retires.
even when he retires, he's not gonna be there.
Dude, Raquel, if you think about it, Kevin Durant could be a better player than the players that Mont just listed, right? But his success in the league is not really
because it's overshadowed by him
big.
joining the Warriors.
Exactly. That's a part of his
Yeah,
legacy.
exactly.
It's still a big
made
part
that
of his
choice,
career.
though.
He won 2 championships there.
Yes, but my explanation is that when he goes to the Nets and he comes back from his Achilles injury, he's gonna be still a beast. You guys are kind of, I don't know. I feel
One
like
other
people
championship,
disrespect
I
him
still
because he
wouldn't
went to
have
the
him
Warriors.
above. I still
Raquel,
wouldn't
I
have
don't
him in
even
the
know if
top
they'll
10.
win a championship.
If you look at his game,
I don't
if you
think
look at
they're
his
winning
game,
one. They need
Well,
one more piece
Raquel,
to
you
win,
see,
in my
this
opinion.
isn't a list of where players are going to rank when it's all said and done.
Right now.
I know
right
LeBron.
now.
I know LeBron hasn't finished his career yet, but come on,
Yeah.
he's already solidified. He's already had
Yeah.
such a strong resume that we can solidify him at number 2.
Mhm.
But KD, on the other hand, we still haven't seen something that would put him in the top 10 yet.
but he's amazing. He's amazing. If you look at
I
his
think
game,
you're ranking him a little bit too early.
Yeah.
I just feel like people look at the Warriors thing and say that's the weakest move in basketball history.
As a player, I respect your ranking for him, but his success-wise, I don't
His
think
legacy
Raquel-
and his
Once
accolades.
again,
Raquel,
this
he's
is
still
based
got
off
at
of
least
future
7 years
prediction.
left in his career.
Absolutely. And this is just my prediction for when it's all said and done. So, yeah. What's your guys' number 8?
All right, come on, you go.
I have Bill Russell at my number 8.
Okay.
And all you guys have already mentioned Bill Russell. I should more so explain why I have him so low.
Yeah, you have him kind of low.
It's not much to do with the era. I know the era argument's kind of dumb because, you can't really control that. You can't really fault a player for a supposed weak era or something. But here's the thing, right? Most of the best talent in the league, it was concentrated in. I believe it was concentrated in Bill Russell's and Wilt's team. I know people say Wilt didn't have that much help, but Wilt actually played with multiple Hall of Famers, multiple All-Stars when he was there. Bill Russell obviously played with an MVP and multiple Hall of Famers. Some of them he might have made Hall of Famers just because of his dominance, but you can't deny he had so much help throughout his career. And I just think that, like, out of everyone in the top 10, Bill Russell probably had the most help. Bill Russell and Wilt, both of them together, probably had the most help out of anyone in the top 10. And, you know, that's my main reason for ranking them so low. But, yeah, that's my reasoning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lippo, who do you have?
Kobe.
I put Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you
course.
guys putting Kobe? What the heck? This is only the second person to say Kobe. What the heck?
Wait, Vikram, did you put Kobe too?
No, I put Kobe as my number 5.
My
Or
8
so
and
you have KD
okay, my
in
8
your
and 9
list,
are
so-
interchangeable. I have Duncan and Kobe at 8 and 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I was putting Duncan for 9.
Duncan for now.
But I'm giving
But
Duncan the
yeah,
slight
Kobe,
edge over Kobe.
5-time NBA champion. But like you said, I put Kobe as low it is because, you know, what Himant said of how without Shaq, a lot of Kobe's success wouldn't be there as it is right there. But yeah, he's still a monster player. Dominated his league. The Mamba mentality itself
This is legacy.
His
deserves
mentality
helps him.
is still alive to this day in some players.
And yeah, that itself lets him makes him deserve to be on this list.
Yeah.
You know, he must have done something right, honestly, in my opinion. Without a doubt, yeah. I there's no need to explain why he's up there in the list, but that's my reason why he's lower than a lot of players that you may have thought of.
Number 9.
All right, my number 9. I feel like this is not that controversial at all. I feel like everyone has him at number 9. Number 9, I have Shaquille O'Neal.
Respectable.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Well, I can see that.
Mont, how about you?
I
could
have
do
Wilt
that.
Chamberlain.
Okay. Right after Bill Russell, right?
God.
Right after Bill
That's
Russell.
respectable.
I'll get to
Okay.
that why
Whipple?
later.
Okay.
And I have Kobe.
Tim Duncan.
Okay. So should I explain why I have
Yeah,
Shaq?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Shaq, most dominant player in NBA history, very long prime with the Lakers. I feel like if he was more athletic, he would be higher on the list, but we can't move him higher just based off of what if.
Oh yeah. You mean more fit? You say more
Yeah,
healthy.
yeah.
Yeah, staying more healthy. Yeah.
You know, he was pretty good. You know, just his dominance. He 3-time Finals MVP, 3-time MVP in general. He puts up amazing stats. He's like the dominance of Shaq.
Wait. You said 3-time MVP?
Yeah.
Shaq's a 1-time MVP.
He's a 3-time finals.
What's wrong
what
with
you
my
meant.
stats? What was I looking at?
He's a 3 times Finals MVP.
Come on,
Your
Ricky.
second time. We call you CEO for a reason.
But yeah, if you just look at the tape and look at his dominance, I think it says enough.
See, Ricky, this is kind of like proving, not proving, but going against your point of how because if Shaquille O'Neal wasn't as big as he was in the league, right? Do you think he would have been in your top 9?
Facts. The
What
size.
do you
No,
mean?
the size.
What do you mean?
argument.
Yeah.
The size matters. The size
No.
is the
I feel
skill.
like if he had the size that he had with the Magic, he would be much better than he was with the Lakers.
So size does
If he
matter.
had the size he had with the Magic and was on the Lakers team, I feel like he would be even more dominant.
Yo, you got it flipped. The reason Shaq got that big was because his size on the Magic wasn't working. All right, he got schooled by Hakeem when he was that big on the Magic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anything, his size just led him to get injury after
Yes,
injury
but it
after
allowed him
injury.
to become the most dominant player of the early 2000s. Literally, no one could guard Shaq. I still can't think of a player in NBA history besides, I'd say, probably Hakeem that could respect him or Yao.
Or
Yao Ming.
Or
Not a lot of players.
Ben Wallace in the 2004 finals.
The point is, not a lot of players can actually guard, I guess, fat Shaq, if you want to put it that way. No disrespect. Yeah, but
Chubby
No,
Kevin.
it's like saying fat Kevin Love.
But yeah, his dominance. It's pretty much the only reason why I put it there. And also, there's run with the Lakers. That's huge.
all-time great run. Yup, indeed. So, my number 9, Wilt behind Bill. There's a reason I have them there. I already explained that they both have like an insane amount of help. That's why I put them so low compared to the rest. But here's the thing, right? Wilt was a statistical monster, but at the end of the day, I have to respect winning over stats any day. Wilt's stats, they were insane and stuff. Probably never gonna happen again. But he just wasn't a winner. Like, you would think that a player like Wilt could have won way more than 2 championships and 2 Finals MVP. Well, the Finals MVP didn't exist when he won his first championship, but he's the Finals MVP of the first one. Like, you would definitely expect more from a player like Wilt, especially the help that he's had. The point is, his stats, they actually hurted his team more than they might have helped his legacy statistically, but his team-wise, it hurt them. Like, in the finals,
that is true.
In the playoffs, that is why Bill Russell always won. I know people would say, "Oh, what if you put Wilt instead of Bill on that team?" Well, I think they wouldn't be the same just because of Wilt's selfishness. The reason the Celtics were so good, the main reason, he did have a lot of help, but Bill Russell is the main reason. And without Bill Russell, if you replace him with Wilt, I don't think they're that good.
You said you value winning more over stats, so how come you didn't have Bill Russell high?
Why didn't I told you he had a lot of help, a little too much help. Sometimes he wasn't.
All right, let's move on to number 10 now. Rakil, who do you have at number 10?
All right, my number 10, another person who is not really on many people's top 10s, so I think this is going to be a little bit more controversial. But at my number 10, I have the second best point guard, Stephen Curry.
Very interesting. First you had KD, now you have Steph.
Yes.
Rakil, are you sure you're not a Warriors fan?
Yes. Are you sure you're not a Warriors fan?
Absolutely not, no.
All right, Hamant, who do you have?
I have Superman himself, the OG Superman, Shaquille O'Neal.
There you go.
Okay. Vipul, what about you?
Actually, I don't know how I found out, but I have Hakeem.
No way, I have Hakeem too.
Whoa.
Hakeem the Dream.
Yeah, it was close though between Hakeem and Shaq.
I will admit I did want him on my top 10, but yeah.
Okay, Rakil, I think yours deserves an explanation first.
Yeah, please,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dang,
please.
you guys are really ganging up on me.
Well, if you put KD in your top 10 list, then
It's okay. Once again, little disclaimer. This is for when I think that it's all said and done. They hang up their freaking
Wait. I forget. You put KD over Tim Duncan and Kobe, right?
No, he had Kobe higher.
I had Kobe over.
Oh yeah, you had Kobe higher. You put him over Tim Duncan though, right?
I gotta be honest.
And Hakeem.
With my 8 throughout 15, they're pretty close, and
that's a pretty large margin, Rakil.
Well, if you think about it, there's a lot of good players out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but many that are better than KD. I promise you.
I mean, Hakeem. There's other
players.
You know.
I kind of understand what Rakil. I kind of understand what Rakil is saying though.
Okay. Here's my explanation. If you're the second best point guard of all time, I think you deserve to be on the top 10. Keep in mind, Stephen Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. He's a great teammate, playmaker. I don't understand why people need to put more respect.
His basketball IQ is off the roof too. To tell you the truth.
I would agree that Steph Curry is a top 20 player of all time.
We have never seen someone.
And I kind of want to support Rakil's argument here. Rakil's his main reasons for why these players are on the top 10 is because of the legacy that they built, right? So Curry himself built the biggest, one of the biggest as well, with changing the whole game of how people are relying outside of the 3-point line, making shots, how plays are made. So
if you change history and you change how the NBA is played because people need to adapt to your game, I think you deserve to be highly ranked.
I remember what Trae Young said once in an interview where he said, without Steph Curry, there wouldn't be a Trae Young. There wouldn't be a bunch of other players, right, that are here today.
This is about his impact on the game. I don't know if we're ranking players based on impact, like how they change.
No, you're right. But once again, Stephen Curry is going to do great things in the future if you think about it. I mean, I predicted him to be the MVP before he got injured. You know what I mean? Excuse the voice crack. But the thing is, the Warriors are going to reload. They're going to get a new pick. They're going to make. I don't know. I predict that they're going to make the finals.
All right, come on. I have a question. If Curry wins another ring
and a Finals MVP,
what's your thoughts on his rank?
Yeah, he's going to win the next.
If he wins a Finals MVP one day, if he does
MVP, I would have him top 15, but I would still have.
To be fair, I feel like he deserved one Finals MVP. I feel like he deserved one of them for sure. Over Andre Iguodala,
like at least one.
Yeah, right? He deserved the one over Iggy.
At most, he deserved two, but at least one. He definitely deserved the one over Iggy. But unfortunately, that's not how history played out, and Steph's legacy is possibly 0 Finals MVPs, or maybe 1 if he wins another championship. And
so why are you guys putting
that's true, but
yeah, that's true. Unanimous MVP. His 2016 season was amazing. Like, arguably one of the best seasons, like offensive-wise.
Top 5 seasons of all time.
Like, offensive-wise, that's like an amazing season. If you look at the number, I know before I was, hey, I don't like the stats, but if you look at the stats and you look at the context both, it's an amazing season.
Oh, Raquel, I don't disagree with you. Steph Curry's 2016 MVP season was a top 5 season of all time.
So, but why do you guys have him so low?
I have him so low because, quite frankly, he hasn't accomplished as much as the rest of these players. He's a great player, but he wasn't the most dominant player of his era. That spot belongs to LeBron James, and it's a great accomplishment being that good in an era with LeBron James.
I mean, you're comparing him to our number 2 here. You know what I mean? You're comparing.
I'm saying like it's still a great. That's why I say it's a great accomplishment to be behind LeBron in that era. But the thing is, he just hasn't accomplished as much as the rest of these players, and I can't.
I mean, he's
part of a. I have a question. How do you judge a good player? Though? How do you yourself judge?
I judge.
Yeah.
I judge a good player. Here's the top of the top for me. Being the most dominant and best player on a championship team. In my opinion, that is the best player in the world.
He is.
Steph Curry.
Well, was Wilt Chamberlain? One of the
top
players?
By that logic, why do you have the
second best player? He was the second best player of his era.
Led to their loss.
Well, Curry was definitely top 3.
Top 3, definitely.
Football, why don't you have him top 10?
Can you possibly put him above players like Shaq, who was the best player of the early 2000s?
I put Shaq over Curry though.
Oh, but wait, did you?
I'm just trying to help him out here.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Well, you tell me. Would you put Curry over Shaq?
Me?
Yes.
As of now, no.
As of now, no.
No.
Well, we're ranking our list based on what we know as of now, aren't we?
Well, I'm basing mine off of when they retired. So.
Fine. Maybe Steph could surpass him.
I can see the argument for when they retire, but
in my opinion, even if Steph wins one last Finals MVP, he still won't surpass Shaq.
I mean,
both have 4 championships. Shaq should have been a unanimous MVP. No doubt in my mind about that.
So,
and 3 Finals MVPs to possibly 0. And
I mean,
yeah,
greatest shooter of all time, playmaking ability.
Okay.
Part of the greatest backcourt in NBA history.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, dude. I still can't put him above Shaq, even if he wins another chip.
I mean, I have Shaq above him. I'm talking about Hakeem. Why do you have him above Hakeem?
You see, Hakeem, he dominated in an era with the greatest player of all time. You talk about, I understand that Michael Jordan wasn't there when Hakeem dominated, but
Curry dominated when LeBron
was that
interesting?
What was that interesting statistic, Vikram? What was that interesting statistic you figured out about Hakeem's record against Michael Jordan?
Hakeem had a winning record against Michael Jordan's teams. I think it was like.
Wasn't he like?
I don't know. Like, double digits to single digits.
Dude, one reason why I had to put Hakeem in the list was because he was the first player to be named NBA MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and Finals
in the same
season.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
he
just
arguably
insane.
had the greatest season of all time, defensively and offensively.
Yeah, he definitely had the greatest season of all time.
I would say that he had the greatest season of all time. I totally agree with that.
So
keep going.
His basketball IQ is insane. He's just such a great player, dude. Like, I don't know why a lot of people leave him out.
Yeah,
because of this
come on,
legendary
the
career,
statistic
right? Isn't he like number one? Isn't he number like
I mean,
15
in a way,
or something on like
why do
points?
people have Wilt so high and Hakeem so low?
Well, the
I don't
points, the
understand why. I
stats,
don't
like you
understand.
said, it's
Stats,
the stats.
Skill wise, Hakeem has more skill than Wilt. But
Here's
they
the
rank
thing. Here's the thing with
Wilt
Hakeem.
higher because of his stats.
Yeah.
Hakeem was at the top of the world.
Wakil, I have a question.
Dominant, right? But it didn't last too long.
You know what I pick? You know how I pick my top 10
Yeah,
players?
go ahead.
It's like if you're in a draft and you have to pick a bunch of all these players, and which player would help your team the most? That's how I would.
Can't really do that, 'cause then you'd have to do I have to pick a center, and then I have to pick a,
Okay, I meant like if I
don't know what you're talking about.
You're way too specific. I'm talking about who's going to have the biggest impact on my team if I had to create one.
Okay.
All right, if I had one choice and I had a bunch of these players, who would I pick? Instead of looking at I look at legacy a little bit, of course, because it kind of backs up the stats.
So why do you have Wilt so high if he's a ball hog and like I don't understand.
Well, he does have Bill Russell high.
His physicality.
Okay, you can't just diminish Wilt's
Bill
legacy
Russell
to just being a ball hog. He has so much more to his resume than that.
Yeah, but I feel like you have to win in order to be considered
eventually.
Great.
You can't.
He did win twice, which is
his teams
better than
his teams had some of the best records in the NBA at that time.
That's true. His Sixers team back in the day.
Well, yes, but I feel like part of the reason we're going in circles again. But part of the reason why people rank him so high is because of his stats that he put up, which I think are inflated.
Inflated indeed, but
compared to everyone else during that era too.
Advantage. Yeah, how could you fault him for taking advantage of his era? Like,
I mean, I'm not. I'm just saying. Okay. If you translate Wilt to today's NBA, he would not put up those numbers. And
of course he wouldn't. But are you telling me that he wouldn't be?
You can't tell me he won't be dominant.
Definitely, he won't be.
In order to be an all-time great on my list, you have to have skills that translate between different eras.
So your problems with Wilt for some reason. Would you rank Wilt Chamberlain?
I mean, I don't even have him on my list, but
what would you rank him all time? What would you rank him?
Consider him somewhere around. I haven't really thought about this. You're putting me on the spot. Maybe somewhere around top 15. I don't know.
Top 15. Man,
yeah.
You're really disrespecting Wilt.
Are there any current players in the league right now that you rank higher besides LeBron and KD? Do you rank higher than Wilt?
Higher than Hakeem or Wilt?
Higher than Wilt.
Wilt.
Today's NBA, no. Or yeah, wait, what?
Okay.
Higher than Wilt, yeah, KD.
Well, besides KD.
I'm saying besides KD and LeBron and Curry.
No,
not
really.
Okay,
yeah.
Who would you put? Who would you put above?
Above who?
Above Wilt in today's NBA.
My list.
I'd only put LeBron.
Oh, today's no, but LeBron. Only LeBron.
LeBron's the only one I put above Wilt.
For
sure. I still think,
I guess
Wilt would still be a dominant force today. Like, even for his size, he was such an incredible athlete. Like, well, there's stories about him touching like the top of the backboard. Like, what? How is that even possible?
I mean, MJ freaking doinked his head on the freaking backboard.
Okay. Rakil, hear me out again. The top of the backboard. That's like what? 15 feet.
The top of the backboard?
Yes, the very top. There's stories.
Rakil.
I know that.
You want to hear something I found? If you adjust Wilt's stats, his 50-point per game season of this year, he would average 44 points per game, 21 rebounds a game, and 2.3 assists per game.
But how are you adjusting it to today's NBA?
The pace. The pace.
But you can't just do that though.
Yeah, we know there's more context.
Yeah, I know there's more context, but I'm
have
just trying to say like you're diminishing like Wilt. You're saying he can't play in this era. Well, that's just kind of false, you know. Like he'd still be a physically dominant force. He'd still put up great numbers.
He would be, but he wouldn't. Okay.
Like think about it. Who the hell would guard Wilt in the paint today?
I mean, what do you mean?
Who would guard Wilt?
Who the hell can guard Wilt?
In today's NBA, people.
In today's, you can't compare like that.
I know, but that's
then
what
Rakil's trying to put Rakil.
No. I'm doing it the other way around. I'm saying his.
He's putting him in the era, so I'm asking, based on what we know of Wilt, the physical force that he is, who in the NBA could possibly guard that monster in the paint?
Anthony Davis,
maybe.
You know,
I'm just saying, dude. What was Wilt? 7'2",
7'1", I think.
had like a 49-inch vertical or something.
Wait, hold on. Who'd
Taco
you
Fall.
who'd you have as your number 10?
My number 10, I already said I had Shaq.
You Shaq, okay.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
Wait, so Vikram and you guys are leaving Shaq out your list?
Yeah, I'm giving Hakeem the slight edge. Should I explain my reasoning?
Yeah, I
gave
Shaq
I kind of look at
It's respectable, I guess.
Like Michael Jordan.
I gave.
Montego.
Oh yeah, thank you. So normally I would put Hakeem because Hakeem utterly destroyed Shaq in the finals at one time, but that wasn't prime Shaq. If it did happen during his prime, then I would probably put Hakeem over Shaq. But nah, Shaq just has more accomplishments, a little bit more accomplishments for me to put him above Hakeem, and that's my reasoning behind that. But I totally understand if you'd put Hakeem above Wilt, just like I'd understand if someone would put Kobe above Duncan, for sure. Go ahead.
I think that's it.
Is that it?
We can move on to my favorite segment.
Oh my god.
Rakil's favorite segment too, predominantly because of the name. Facts or whack.
Yes.
Let us know what you guys think of that with the name. I think it's kind of whack, but
I think it's
I
beautiful.
love the name.
I don't know what you're talking about.
A beautiful name.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. All right, for the first question for facts or whack, was Harden let down by his organization?
No.
facts.
Whack.
Facts.
Ooh, I like this.
Harden had.
I would,
Hey, I'm getting
I would say
ganged up on
whack.
this podcast,
I was
dude.
saying whack.
This episode's gonna be me versus all three of you.
I like it. I already like this episode.
I
All
like
right,
this
so
episode. It's more.
since I'm the outlier here, should I
Go
explain
ahead.
why?
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So I would say he was let down more by Mike D'Antoni than Daryl Morey. But I feel like Daryl Morey should have stepped up and told Mike D'Antoni, no. And specifically what I'm
No.
talking about is the Rockets small ball. Specifically what I'm talking about is the Rockets going small ball. When you're in the same conference as players as Jokic, AD, and you're in the same league as, freaking huge centers such as Joel Embiid, who are just going to destroy you in the paint.
Physical
I don't
forces like
think going
Giannis.
small ball, I don't think going small ball, especially when you're in the West, is a good idea. Because if their center is PJ Tucker, who's 6'5", and I just don't see what the upside is of going small ball in today's league.
Well, you see that's like I'd say that's one example of a terrible idea. We still don't know how it'll work in the playoffs, but in the past, especially in 2018, I think they built an amazing team with Chris Paul and Harden. Like, you got to understand, we all know Chris Paul went down with that injury, and that's why they didn't win against the Warriors. They very well could have.
They would have won the finals that year.
That's not letting them down. They would have won the finals that year if Chris Paul didn't go down. I have no doubt in my mind. So I don't think it was a letdown. I don't think Daryl Morey let him down at all. He built a great team. Just circumstances, just kind of went in the way. Basketball gods didn't want.
Didn't the Rockets have the best record that season too?
Yeah, they did. Harden
and by the way, this isn't a knock towards Robert Covington. I think he's a great player. He can play defense. He can rebound somewhat, but I don't know. I just feel like
I get what you mean. Against centers, he's not going to fare well.
One of my favorite players of all time, by the way.
Clint Capella for like a freaking bag of chips. They gave him away for practically nothing.
I mean, did they get that trade? Basically, got them Rocco, right?
Yeah, it was like a 3-team trade, right?
Rocco and it was like a 3-team trade. They got Rocco and someone else, I forget. But I mean, Robert Covington's playing amazing.
I for sure think that you could have squeezed more value out of Clint Capella.
That is true.
That's true.
I would choose Covington over Capella, though.
Now that's a controversial statement. You want
to explain that before?
Yeah, but
I mean, if you think about it, though, who would have a more impact towards the team?
Offensively, right. Covington, but if you don't have a center,
offense and defensively too.
Depends what the team needs, though.
And that team needs a big man.
I guess. So yeah, it's way better. But I mean, in general, I'd pick Covington.
You would pick Covington. I mean, yeah, he does fit a lot more systems. I see what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Covington is like one of those players that would fit any system. He'd be perfect for any system. But based on what the Rockets need, I mean, we don't know. They could completely just
gotta wait and
defy all
wait and see,
expectations.
Really
Just gotta wait
quick.
and see.
Really quick, Mike D'Antoni's contract ends this season. Do you guys think that Daryl Morey will
Yeah, I
sign
think so.
again?
I think he will.
Depends on what happens this year.
I mean, if Daryl Morey already committed to the small ball thing, which was set up by
Might
Mike
as well.
D'Antoni, he can't just fire D'Antoni because I don't know.
I feel like he's gonna keep him around for a few years.
You made a mistake. You gotta.
Who would they hire, like, instead of D'Antoni, though?
Kenny Atkinson.
Hey, let's go.
I mean,
Kenny Atkinson. I always say Kenny Atkinson. The Kings should fire Luke Walton and hire Kenny Atkinson.
That is very true. I still don't know why Luke Walton's a coach.
That's a Lakers fan. He's saying that as a Lakers fan, guys.
Dude, every single Lakers fan hated Luke Walton last year. Don't forget that.
The man who benched Buddy Hield. That's still like, oh my God, that pissed me off so much.
The man who benched Buddy Hield.
The 3-point champion. But the thing is, Buddy Hield did go off on the bench.
Did he though? Was he really that impactful that he couldn't have done that?
Actually, no, he did have really good games when he was on the bench.
Yeah, but you're telling me he couldn't do that on the starting spot, where he could have probably been a lot more impactful.
Yeah. And also, I feel like people need to give the Kings more slack because they were really injured this season.
That's true.
But that's not a get out of jail free card for Luke
Walton.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
The Kings have an amazing roster. They just don't use it.
They have a great roster. It's just I don't know.
Too bad they have a terrible coach.
Yeah. Kenny Atkinson would turn that around.
So what's the next segment of Facts or Whack?
This one's Raquel might like this one. Or he might not. I don't know. Stephen A. Smith thinks Jason Tatum, not Luka Doncic, will become NBA's best player. Facts or whack?
I mean, we kind of talked about this in the last podcast.
Whack.
Whack.
Luka's the baby goat.
As a Celtics fan, I have to say whack.
Tatum's going to be great, but
not
to Luka's level.
Okay.
Yeah, all we got to say, Luka's the baby goat, man.
I will say, defensive-wise, Jason Tatum is better than Luka Doncic, but Tatum has a lot of work to do to get on Luka's level. But I think he is capable of doing it. It's a great, I wouldn't be mad if someone said.
Are the Celtics true contenders if Luka was on there?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
No.
Wait, what?
Like instead of Tatum.
True contenders. Instead of Tatum, if Luka was on there.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? You want to elaborate?
I mean, Luka's pretty much carrying the freaking Mavs. I don't see why he can't do it with the Celtics.
Oh yeah, he made the Mavs the greatest offense in NBA history. I wouldn't be surprised if he can.
Yeah, when Luka's on the court, the Mavs have like the best offense.
True. I wouldn't be surprised if he. Yeah, they're definitely
playmaking wise. Luka's a playmaker. I can see.
Luka's everything, man, except for defense. But he's everything.
And he's still got time to make his defense better.
The Mavs need to do something with Luka because you can't. If you look at NBA history, if you utilize Luka the way you do, it's not going to translate to winning championships. You need to build around Luka.
Yeah.
I agree, Raquel. I actually agree. Luka's way too ball dominant.
I mean, they kind of are, right?
Playmakers off the bench. You need playmakers off the bench.
What he means is Luka is way too ball dominant. That, based on what we've seen in history, that doesn't translate to success usually.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mavs roster is kind of OP right now.
I mean, I guess you could say it worked with MJ, but come on, it's never.
Even MJ. He was the primary scorer, but he couldn't become the primary playmaker. Yeah. That he would have been way too.
Yeah, we saw in The Last Dance once Phil Jackson introduced the triangle offense.
Jackson. I also think that Porzingis needs to step it up a little bit. Everyone knows what he's capable of.
What happened with Porzingis this season?
He's just coming back from injury.
He's coming back.
I mean, if you think about it, though, the Mavs organization is doing a really good job building around Luka, right? They've just got Willie Cauley-Stein.
They definitely have a good team surrounded. Like
Tim Hardaway Jr., Seth Curry's actually doing pretty good. He did really good last season.
Elite role player. You can
Yeah.
say that.
But yeah, Rakil's right. They do need more.
I have no doubt in my mind. It's a great team around him. But can you possibly say this is a championship team 2 years down the line?
The same
I don't
team,
think
no.
so. I don't think so. I think they need one more piece. Like Rakil said, another playmaker off the bench so that Luka's not way too ball dominant. Because history has shown that's not a recipe for success.
Who do you guys think would be a good piece there?
Honestly, any offensive option.
Well,
Right.
yeah.
I mean,
A good shooter, and like a good playmaker.
they do have size. I know that. So size is not the problem.
They got Boban,
The
Yeah,
goat.
Boban.
the GOAT.
Yeah.
Who's a great shooter? I think Malcolm Brogdon would be an amazing fit for them.
Ooh, that'd be
Yeah,
nice.
the Pacers will for sure not let go of Brogdon.
Great defender, great
They'd have
shooter, and great
to give up a bit
The
to
Mavs-
get him though.
Brogdon is so underrated in my opinion. I feel like people sleep on Brogdon.
The Mavs should have done something to get D'Lo, in my opinion.
D'Lo, yeah, that would have worked too.
But like then they
Great
wouldn't have that
shooter and
much of
great
a bench
playmaker.
though.
But what would they give up to get?
Yeah, they'd probably have to give up a lot for that though.
Yeah. True.
Then again, how much did the Timberwolves really give up for D'Lo?
A lot, actually.
They gave up Wiggins.
And they gave their 2022 first round pick or whatever.
More picks, possibly. Yeah. Anyways,
I mean,
we
they gave away all their first round picks for the next like 5 years now.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But I feel bad for Karl Anthony Towns, dude. They need he's such an amazing player, and they need to build around him.
Oh yeah. I mean, it is Minnesota, so.
I'm getting a little off topic though.
maybe it's
All
finally
right.
time.
Let's just move on to the
Keep
next
going.
segment.
For number 3, Patrick Beverley, the most overrated player in the West.
Okay.
Mm.
He's overrated. I'll say that, right? Clippers fans are gonna hate me for that.
And I
He
think
is-
that's a whack.
Overrated. But I don't know if he's the most overrated.
I
But
can't think
I don't
of
know
someone
about
who
most
is
overrated though.
I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like he's overrated. I just think people like watching him. You know what I mean? I don't think people respect his game that much. I think people just respect him getting in people's faces and getting in your head and stuff like that. I don't think it's people respecting his.
No, I
game.
feel like people respect his defense.
He gets the most hate in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, but okay. With that in mind, his defense is good.
It's good,
His
but
defense
like
is good.
not to the level
I don't
people
think-
hype it up to.
I don't think it's an all NBA, all defense first team level defense. Like,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of guards better than him, like Marcus Smart.
Hey, let's go.
You know, Eric Bledsoe, great defender.
Raquel was so happy that he said
I know, because for those who do not know,
that.
all these freaking Lakers fans disrespecting Marcus Smart, and they use a name that I cannot repeat on this podcast, but they do be disrespecting Marcus Smart.
That's not true at all.
Oh, it's so true.
He's one of the few. I mean, sure, he can't like do much.
No. By the way, for those who do not know, I bet this dude and someone else who will not name, and I bet on the Celtics v Lakers game, the first game of the season, they won by freaking blowout. And all that they were saying, I was hyping up Marcus Smart, and all they were saying is, Marcus. I can't repeat it on this podcast, but I'm so glad that they are respecting Marcus Smart now because I was right.
Hashtag.
Man, I never disrespected Marcus.
I'll tell you off the recording.
Hey,
I'll tell you
Vipul,
exactly what you're saying
Vipul.
about Marcus Smart.
Hashtag sell shit.
And you know
Vipul,
exactly
aren't
what
you
you're saying.
aren't you glad we're Pistons
I
and
don't.
Wolves fans?
Yeah, I know. We don't need to go that far in the beef.
I can't repeat it on the podcast right now, but yeah.
So, next topic.
John Stockton harder to guard than Jordan. Facts are whack.
Okay.
Wait, who's Gary Payton said that, right?
We all know.
Yeah, Gary Payton said it.
Yeah.
I think we all know the answer to that. No explanation.
But with that being said, John Stockton did have the court vision, and he was an amazing passer. You always had to make sure that you also had the court vision to match John Stockton. So I guess I see what he's saying, but no, you're wrong. Jordan is obviously harder to guard.
Yes, that's why we don't need an explanation.
Do you want to?
that.
Do you want
I
to hear
see
Gary
what you're
Payton's
trying to say,
explanation?
but no.
He would
Go
say
ahead. Yeah.
he wasn't I can't speak. He wasn't as athletic as us, but he was smarter than us. We knew what he was going to do. We knew he was going to set tough picks. We had all the videos on YouTube. We were so dumb. We would get caught up with the picks and get mad at him. He would shoot 8 times and make 9, shoot 8 free throws and make 7. He'd have 15 assists and 4 steals, a complete game. That's just the way he was, and I idolized him. I just imitated him while going about my business, talking trash and getting it done. After the game, you would look at my stats and it would be right there.
Very interesting. I'm sure Jordan could do the same, but better too.
Moving
Man, Gary
on.
Payton's just salty.
NBA 2K21 released their info. Showed a short video of Zion dribbling the ball with extra sweat.
I saw that, dude.
I love those memes.
I love the sweat. He's literally dripping with sweat this time. Like 2K20,
Well,
like
every 2K video.
Better, dude.
they somehow managed to add more sweat. But like,
they always manage to add more sweat.
This video, dude, he was dripping.
Imagine what they're
gonna
do.
Like water face.
It's just gonna be a puddle of sweat.
It's just gonna be water.
That one shot where they freaking zoomed in on his freaking forehead and his nose, where
all the sweat.
All the sweat was just dripping down his lips.
Low key, I feel like they do it for the memes. They for sure
is Zion gonna be the cover for 2K21?
I don't think he. I don't think he deserves to be the cover.
That'd be kind of whack, but yeah, neither do I.
He hasn't really proven anything yet. And I know everyone's going to go back to that
If
game.
he is the cover, then we
who do you guys
think
think should be in the cover?
We know who
Kobe.
the future of the league is.
I feel like Kobe should be in the Legendary Edition.
That's true.
I'd say
Luka.
Luka.
I would say
Okay,
Kobe.
so if we're
for
doing
the
current day,
edition.
then I'd say Luka.
I'd say Luka. Because I feel like there's going to be backlash if they do Kobe. Because then I feel like people are going to be like, oh, you're profiting off of Kobe.
I mean, if they put him on the Legends Edition, that's even more shady in your logic.
I mean, a lot of people want Kobe, just to be honest.
A lot of people want Kobe.
That is true. That is true.
A lot of people want Kobe on the thing.
I just hope that people don't spin it.
You know who I would put? You know who I would put? This is gonna be. I feel like I might go. I feel like all you guys might gang up on me for this, but I think we should put Kemba.
Kemba.
I've been taking it the whole
Kemba.
Bro. Kemba isn't even the best player on his own team. How are you gonna put him on a 2K cover?
I mean, come in to think about it now, like he is finally He's finally having a success. Like I don't know, he's finally just doing good for his team. He's finally
a good
team.
for him, but that doesn't mean he should be on a 2K cover.
Good for him. Yeah, he ain't the 2K cover.
By that logic, we should put Jimmy Butler on there.
Facts.
We should put Bam on the cover if that's the logic.
And Jimmy Butler is
put Bam, put Jimmy.
And in a way, I feel like
we're just gonna put fan favorites.
You know what?
We'll put you on the cover
again.
We'll put you on the cover too.
I feel like I deserve it in a way. You know, we can put him on his layups on the back part.
Oh no! Why don't we just mix them all up on the front cover, like 2K16?
Do you guys think that maybe Tatum will one day have a 2K cover?
I can see
definitely.
I do believe that.
I've hated on Tatum in the past, but I can't deny.
I mean, Cat got his own cover somehow.
I do believe that Luka will. This is not just a fluke, and he will continue.
Yeah, this is nowhere.
Of course, this is
performing at this high of a level.
This is not a fluke.
And for sure, I think Luka deserves it.
You don't average a near 30-point triple-double as a fluke.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're in the MVP conversation, I think you deserve it.
But who actually would realistically be the cover though?
LeBron. Do you think Jokic?
Giannis, he's been on.
Giannis
Nah, they would not.
I'm just trying to think of like good players who haven't been on the cover right now.
They should just put
Giannis was on like 2K19.
You can't put Giannis twice though.
I mean, they did that for Anthony Davis though. So who knows what 2K could do.
I still don't get why they put 80 though.
Yeah.
For 2K20.
Neither do I. That should have been for 2K20. That should have been Kawhi.
Do you think they do it this year?
That makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
They might put. I think Kawhi might sound a little more reasonable this year. Honestly,
out of all the options, Kawhi doesn't.
If the Clippers do,
I wouldn't be mad if they put Kawhi.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad if it was Kawhi. Kawhi or Luka. I think.
But I favor Luka.
I hope they put JaVale on one day.
one day.
I mean, he's too good. They don't deserve to have JaVale in there.
Oh yeah, he's too good.
They would have to pay JaVale they'd have to pay JaVale so much money.
Is JaVale McGee the most underpaid NBA player of all time? Facts are whack.
Yo, chill. That's
maybe
stop
exposing.
We'll save that
for
next
episode.
Celtics released a video of Taco shooting threes.
He does it so. It looks so effortless when he does it. He's really just like
when
stretching.
Taco dunks, it's like a little hippity hop. It's so funny to watch.
You know what is really interesting? Playoff comeback confirmed. July 30th, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're actually doing it.
July 30th.
One interesting point they actually said about this was they allow players to not play.
Yeah, as they should.
I think it's perfect.
I actually do agree with that.
So So Hamant, you think that whoever the champion of this season is, that there's not going to be an asterisk next to their championship?
No, I don't believe that there will be an asterisk because most people are in the same situation. Most, not everyone.
Okay, but if a lot of people sit out,
it really depends on who's going to sit out.
Think that
Raquel,
faced all the.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If certain players, let's say, for example, Anthony Davis chooses to sit out. Big players like that, I can't deny. There's definitely going to be an asterisk for that. But if a bunch of role players, like let's say Rondo, I know Rondo's pretty decently valuable for the Lakers, but come on now, that's not going to make that big of a difference if Rondo sits out because of the virus.
What if you have a solid?
But we don't know. We don't know who's sitting out.
Solid role players. That's a different story. But then again, isn't that like any other? Isn't that like an asterisk where any other player would get injured, such as like Chris Paul getting injured in the 2018 Western Conference Finals?
But these players have the choice. We
don't know how many people are going to sit out.
We don't. Now, let's say for example, a bunch of role players on the Lakers and the Clippers are going to sit out. Would you guys say there's an asterisk on that?
Yeah.
If a bunch of now they have to adapt.
Come on, we both know that the Nets and the Lakers are both going to the playoffs, right? So, do you think that the Nets had the same amount of proper training that the Lakers had? Was it
possibly? But
of course we know that. You know, New York being way more dense than LA for sure.
New York has so many cases.
Yeah, but once again, you got to think about it. These guys aren't training at like Rutgers Park or something. They have their own facilities where they're just gonna chill and no one's.
What'd you say?
Rutgers.
What'd you say?
Rutgers Park.
I mean, yeah. Okay, but
I understand.
They don't have access to.
I understand the sitting out aspect, right? Certain teams could have very important players sitting out. But I think if it's like minuscule level players, like I don't know, Isaiah Hartenstein, for example.
How do you know if these players are going to have a big impact in the playoffs, though?
Yeah.
Well,
you can't just say because they did bad. You can just say they did bad.
I know for sure.
There's always one player
I know for sure that Isaiah Hartenstein.
Wow, that guy showed up.
What was that?
I'm just saying you can't just say because that person played bad like regularly. They're never gonna pop out.
I can tell you for sure. A player like Isaiah Hartenstein will have no impact on the playoffs for the Rockets.
I mean, you said that Rondo will have a small impact, but if you think about it, Rondo's a great passer.
Rondo is an amazing passer, but he can barely
You're just saying he can be easily
He barely
replaced.
stretch the floor. I mean, he improved. Yeah, I'm saying he can be replaced by Reggie Jackson or like.
Oh, by the way, kind of off topic, but do you think
Jamal
JR
Crawford?
I
want to see Jamal Crawford get
Jamal
signed.
Crawford. Do you think they'll be fine?
Well,
oh my God!
Crawford dropped 50 in his last game in the NBA, and no one signed him.
Wait, is Crawford's a shooting guard? A point guard? What is he?
He's a shooting guard.
Yeah.
Well,
shooting guard.
How do you drop 50? How do you become the oldest player to drop 50 and no one signs you?
I mean, I feel like Nets obviously don't have Kyrie and KD. But I think
some teams should sign him.
I don't think the Nets care about this season. Some contenders probably should, just in case.
Maybe the Suns. Maybe
He played for the Suns.
Oh yeah,
last
here's also
season.
something else interesting. Here's this interesting.
The Suns
post.
always mess stuff up, dude.
I mean, he Jamal Crawford's 40. He's probably not that important for their future. I don't think they lost much in that. I definitely think a contender should sign him though, just in case, especially with this situation at hand. Like I saw an interesting post the other day where Nate Robinson actually made a post saying he basically put up the tweet about players choosing whether they want to play or not, and below that in the caption he put, "I'm waiting for my phone to ring." Who knows, man? Who knows?
You know what the Suns should do? You know what the Suns should do? Just trade Devin Booker to the Timberwolves.
It's over.
Right. It's good, right?
You get back what?
The whole team.
That's a whole other podcast topic. That's an interesting topic. We should talk about it soon.
The whole Timberwolves roster except for D'Lo and Cat.
Yeah, facts.
Oh, you
There's your
okay,
team.
one thing I saw some Bleacher Report like just a few minutes ago. A significant number of players were disappointed that they couldn't vote on the NBA restart. So what do you?
A significant. That would make
It says
sense.
150 players have organized a call to unify their stance. So that'd be interesting, like here.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the players?
Not the players.
I thought you meant the fans. I was like, I mean, yeah, because they would have a significant impact on the decision, right? I bet most of them are going to say we don't want to play.
Yeah.
But then a lot of people are like, wait, we're paying them, right? So kind of need to entertain. We kind of need our revenue back. So just
exactly
tricky situation.
Yeah.
It'll make.
Well, who knows, man?
Yeah.
Only time will tell whether this season will actually have an asterisk or not. I mean, I know there's a high chance that there will.
I mean, I heard they're using 2K audience.
Whenever they cut to David Aldridge,
wasn't that a rumor? Wasn't that a rumor?
No, I think they should do that. There. What do you want to hear? Squeaking shoes?
No. I think it's.
Whenever LeBron gets the ball, it's gonna be like, okay, Che with the ball.
I've always wanted to hear players mic'd up. I've always wanted to hear
Che with the ball. Che brings up the ball. They're gonna
skip
in,
him.
David Aldridge.
People at home just gonna be pressing X on their controller.
Thanks, DA.
All right. I want to move on to the thing that me and Vikram have been looking forward for.
Maybe.
All right. 96 Bulls.
Are we good on time?
17 Warriors.
Are we good on time?
We probably are. I think so.
Yeah, let's just go.
We're good.
Yeah, keep going.
96 Bulls versus 17 Warriors. 2017 Warriors. Cupcake League.
Interesting.
So no hand checking or what Hemant would say, pussy fouls.
3 second rules. 3 second.
Second rules. Zone defense is more viable nowadays. So
is more allowed. Zone defense is And so me and Raquel will be taking the side of the 96 Bulls. And they will be taking the 2017 Warriors.
Yeah. All right.
So
we'll let you guys.
Oh, by the way, this isn't one game. This is a best of 7.
Best of 7.
Right. But will you start off?
We'll let you guys go ahead.
I just want to say,
this is gonna be interesting.
Curry, Katie, Clay, and Dre.
Look at Curry, man.
We get it.
Okay.
Look at Curry, man. All right. First of all, we're talking about the Cupcake League, right? So no handshaking, no pussy fouls. The 96 Bulls were significantly known for their defense, right? So a lot of that will be minutes skewed in a way because
no handshaking.
And a lot of their plays that Phil Jackson did create were based on more post offense, right? So now
post-centric offense.
But
no, wait.
You can go on.
Let him keep talking. Let him keep talking. Raquel, let him finish.
I'll let you finish.
Okay.
Yeah, let him finish.
With a lot of their plays being more relied on, the post, I mean, they're going to be, I guess, in a way confused in a way of how the Warriors are designed to play, right? I get how the Warriors are in a lower end for defense, but their offense is just off the scale for the amount of threes they can make, the plays, the more modern plays that they made. Because if you think about it, right, each team in different eras are adapted to the rules, and the Warriors were the most adapted. They were the prime time. They're like the face of the Cupcake League that sounds bad. It does sound bad. But like,
for the record, none of us are old heads.
Yeah.
We do like the modern NBA. Okay, keep going. Keep
but
going.
okay. With them being extremely adapted to the rules, like with them just using the rules, the Cupcake League rules, as their advantage with their abilities of relying on these 3-point shooting, right? Their offense would be off the roof compared to the Bulls. I get how their defense will be lacking, but with in a way, I just think with their extreme offense, I just think the 17 Warriors will win for sure.
Okay.
Valid points. The offense.
I kind of have a counter.
I feel like
Vikram,
we should do
do you have
like
anything to say?
Vipul says a point,
Okay,
then you guys say a point, then I'll say a point, Monty say a point.
Then we'll say a point again. All right, Rakil, go ahead.
So, okay. The thing is, I'm assuming that the Bulls are going to adapt to the modern day play style of shooting more threes, right?
Which means spacing, I'm guessing.
And it's exactly the point I wanted to go to. So MJ with spacing would be OP.
Unstoppable.
With MJ with space, because if you think about it, teams knew MJ was going to attack the paint and shoot mid-range shots. So, which is why they would tailor their defense to MJ.
AKA
but with spacing, MJ would, it would just, the offense would be way better than it was before.
He'd have a lot more spacing, take a lot more, and man, Jordan with spacing, like I wouldn't be surprised if he went ahead and averaged 40 points a game. I'm not even exaggerating with that. If the mid-range area and the paint is more open for Jordan to fly to the rim, utterly destroy the rim, I'm sorry, Draymond is getting posterized at least 5 times that entire series.
I'm glad we're on the same page, Juan.
Thank you. But
we didn't really plan this out. We just kind of researched on our own.
So I do have another point, but I'll let Vikram talk for now. What do you think about Jordan? What do you guys think?
You can't deny Jordan's gonna be dominant. Like we cannot deny that.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm gonna list off some stats from the 96 Bulls and the 17 Warriors. Averaged 30.4 points.
Oh no!
Like, you can't combat that. Like, I have to agree with that. But then the second leading scorer, Pippen, averaged 19.4 points per game, followed by Kukoc with 13.1 points per game. Now go to the Warriors. Curry averaged 25.3 points per game. Durant averaged 25.1 points per game. Clay averaged 22.3 points per game, and Draymond averaged 10.2 points per game, along with solid rebounding numbers. So going off of what Vipul was saying earlier, like that offense is just like unprecedented. Like I don't see like what defense could combat that. Like you have Durant, he's one of the most versatile offensive scorers like ever. Like Rakil, you had him in your top 10, so like I don't know. Yeah. I just feel like their offensive capability combined would just be too much for the Bulls to handle. The team itself averaged 115.9 points per game compared to the Bulls 105.2 points per game. I get that has to do with like spacing in the era, but you still can't deny like that's a 10-point difference.
That's true. Okay. But we're saying they're in the same league in this one, right? The Cupcake League. So their pace has to be adjusted.
I get that, but the Warriors would still have the edge over them, I feel.
Yeah.
So it's my turn, right?
Right. Go ahead.
I'll go ahead. So here's the thing. The Warriors for sure on offense, they take out the Bulls any day. I'm not going to deny that. Jordan will dominate that series, but him alone is not better than the Warriors offense. But here's where it comes in. I think the Bulls defense is enough to stop the Warriors. Why? Even if hand checking is not allowed, they still have 2 of the greatest perimeter defenders of all time in Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Put Jordan on Curry and actually no, Jordan doesn't even need to be on Curry. Put Pippen on Durant first of all, right?
Yeah.
Durant's not shooting a 3
Pippen on Curry,
series with Pippen on his ass. And
that's a cap. You know why? Because if you think about it, this new league, you got to be way more. They rely way more on speed, right? And we all know that 96 Bulls are nothing matched with the speed of Curry, Durant, Clay. You forgot Clay as well, dude, because all of them just keep on moving while they try to shoot around the perimeter. And like, I just think that the offense is just.
Sorry, your voice.
The
your voice
cannot
was a little
match.
cut out there for me. Could you summarize
my
it a little bit?
So basically, one of the most important plays for the Warriors is how Curry runs around the perimeter, trying to find an open spot to shoot a three, right? Do you think the Bulls Warriors?
Curry's off ball play is insane.
Yeah, but you see,
with the agility of
here's my point, right?
Go on.
So I mentioned how Pippen would clamp up Durant. I'm still sure Durant would average a bunch of points.
I don't think he's gonna clamp up Durant at all.
Okay, yeah, Pippen's one of the best defenders ever.
Now you might think that this leaves Curry open, right? Like, who's guarding Curry? Well, here's the thing. Go back to 2015. I know this isn't the 2017 Warriors, but Curry was still comparable. I guess a little bit. Curry was still a little bit comparable to 2015. Remember when what was his name? What was the guy on the Cavs that guarded Curry?
Dellavedova?
Yes, Matthew Dellavedova. Now Curry didn't play bad at all that season, but that man, he guarded the hell out of Curry, and Curry's efficiency did dip. His turnovers went up, and he was having not a bad series per se, but he was having a slight below average series. And honestly, you got an even better defender than Dellavedova on the Bulls to guard Curry. That is
You forgot about Clay though. Who's guarding Clay?
Yeah. I was about to compare him.
Clay's gonna have fun with Jordan on him.
No, wait, who'd you say is on Curry then?
Yeah.
Ron Harper. Yeah, Ron Harper. Ron Harper is an all-time great defensive point guard. He's really big. So even when Curry gets inside, he'll have a easy time.
I mean, a lot of his defense. I think you're undermining the rules of this league, though. A lot of his defense would be a defensive foul in today's league.
But
he would have to be more cautious of.
And don't forget the 3-second rule is in this league now.
Yeah, you're relying way more on the Bulls' defense, which would not be as strong
Well,
as
this is the playoffs,
right?
So a lot of the per se weak fouls that would be called in the regular season wouldn't usually be called in the playoffs. Now, I do understand that it's a lot different from the 90s, but when you have all-time great perimeter defenders like that on your team, no matter what era you put them in, I think they will succeed on defense. Maybe not Ron Harper.
I don't think their perimeter defense can match the speed of the Warriors.
Let's think about the Warriors' defense too, because we can't deny the Warriors had you can't say they had bad defense. Klay Thompson's one of the best defenders we have in our league nowadays.
But I do you believe that
I don't
Klay
think I'm not saying Klay can guard Jordan, but I'm just saying you can't undermine their defense.
I can't.
What are the Warriors going to do to protect the rim?
JaVale.
Yeah, you forget they have the GOAT on their team.
To be fair, they have Kevin Looney, right?
Yeah. Ron Looney.
He was a good defender himself.
Don't forget when Kevon Looney got trucked by Kawhi last season.
You guys want to talk about their bench? What are the Warriors going to do against Tony Kukoc and
what was
Steve
their
Kerr?
bench that season?
Well, guess what? Steve Kerr's the coach for the Warriors, so he would know Steve Kerr's tricking the Bulls. Not gonna lie.
All right. That's out of the realm of possibility.
We're not we're not playing by that freaking loophole.
Technically speaking, but
so
they still have Iguodala.
What are they going to do about Kukoc and Steve Kerr?
Yeah,
Zaza was pretty nice.
Well, yeah, season. One player. Well, what else?
To foul people, yeah.
Ooh. Zaza is the definition of the 90s. The 90s.
There's your answer. There's your answer for who's going to guard their paint.
Zaza. Zaza's going to be crying, bro, because Rodman's going to be talking to him a lot in that game. I'm just saying.
Rodman versus Draymond.
That would be a very, very fun matchup.
That's hilarious.
Bro, do you guys
one
think
of them
that
is
one of them
definitely going to have a flagrant to that game. At least two of them are going to be suspended.
Draymond fouls out the game, what happens? What happens to the
I'm
Warriors?
telling you.
Somebody's going to get suspended.
One of them is definitely going to get suspended.
Something's going to be said to set one of them off.
But
okay, let's go.
I wish we could watch this in real life.
Let's talk about. Let's say it's Game 7. You're down to the fourth quarter. Game's tied. There's a minute left in the game. Who's better in the clutch, Like, which team has better clutch
I don't
players?
think that's a question. Jordan's to most people he's the greatest clutch player of all time. I mean, and I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, you guys watched the
Curry,
documentary.
well, his stats do diminish during clutch time, as we've seen. He's had clutch moments for sure, but overall, we know.
I mean, you guys see the amount of people that do guard him, though.
Well, he's got Ron Harper on him.
I mean, the defensive is also going to be
Kevin
focusing
Durant
on Kevin
also,
Durant too.
He doesn't. I wouldn't necessarily say he.
Ricky, I think you're undermining your top 7 NBA player of all time right here.
Can you possibly tell me?
I mean,
and your top 10.
I'm defending
and your top
who's at my
10,
number 1 spot.
NBA player of all time too.
I'm defending who's my number 1.
Thinking about it though, clutch wise, right, Vikram? I think the Bulls do have an upper hand in clutch, of course, because of their size. And
do you think it would ever go to that?
Oh, it's not only size and physicality; they got the mentality too. They got Jordan on their team.
I mean, the IQ. I think the Warriors definitely have that.
IQ's
with having a way better
IQ is really a factor with the coach, I'd say.
But you can't knock Phil Jackson off, because if Phil Jackson was a great coach and he coached Kobe and Shaq, and I understand it's still a different league.
Arguably
but
the greatest
Phil
coach
Jackson
of all time.
is still a genius, like as a coach. He's gonna coach in a way that adapts to the Warriors play style.
2000s Lakers, 90s Bulls, and 2010 Lakers. 3 different eras which he has succeeded in, won a championship in, and I wouldn't be surprised.
So I don't think that you can use the whole this is the Bulls, they're from the old era.
I mean, when Phil Jackson did adapt to those different eras, he had different players who were from these different eras, right? He didn't have MJ, right? He didn't have the ability to change a person from these 90s eras become like the cupcake
since we're putting them
league player that people
since
are.
we're putting them in the cupcake league, we have come to the consensus that
I'm trying to make that he's using the same players that he used in 90s era against these players in a different era. You're talking about I'm just refuting your point of his ability to adapt because he had different players. Like Kobe was extremely good for his era.
No, sir.
Right?
He had Kobe. He had Kobe back in the 2000s when the pace was at its all-time slowest, and he had Kobe in the 2010s when the pace picked up exponentially. What did that result in? 3 championships, early 2000s.
I mean, Kobe's prime was during
2
the later
championships.
era.
Yeah, but we're not talking
how
about
he was able to use them in different
eras.
Plus,
he had the highest efficiency when he used Kobe in that era.
We're also.
But that,
you're talking
that's
about
not what we're talking about. We're talking about his ability.
He only had that ability to adapt to win because he had different players. That's what I'm trying to say.
But we just repeated that he had Kobe for 2 different eras of basketball.
But Kobe only had higher efficiency in the later part of the era.
Well, that's false because Kobe's.
But they still got the job done.
That's false because Kobe's most efficient season was 2006 when he didn't have Phil Jackson, and defenses were even slower. He actually.
I mean, so without Phil Jackson, right?
Yeah, he actually had one of his lesser efficient seasons with Phil Jackson, yet still got the job done. Phil Jackson could probably coach in any era, and there's evidence behind that. He's done it in 3 different eras.
I mean, I don't think he could use MJ and his team. I don't think.
Now here's the thing.
To be coaching.
I feel like one thing we're forgetting to talk about is 3-point shooting, because a 3 is worth more than a 2.
Yeah.
I mean, he's averaged 27 3-point attempts in the 2016-2017 season.
We also, I did mention
Phil Jackson cannot create a play for the plays that the Warriors have. The people who literally rely on.
Well, if Tyronn Lue,
the '96 Bulls, were famous for.
If Tyronn Lue could create plays for Matthew Dellavedova to guard Curry and be effective, I'm sure that the greatest coach of all time, Phil Jackson, could create plays for Ron Harper to be effective.
I mean, you got to talk about Curry,
You really do be disrespecting.
I mean, you're just talking about Curry when he didn't have KD though.
Yeah, didn't have KD, but they still won 67 games. They were still going against a Cavs team without Kyrie or Kevin Love. Yet he still.
And they sweep.
Yet no, they won in 6 games actually. Fun fact.
I meant the other one.
They won in 6
one.
games there too in 2017.
I'm talking about 2018.
Well, these aren't the 2018 Warriors. These are the 2017 Warriors.
I'm just saying, like, they use the same team and they sweep.
Yeah, they swept because LeBron had an even worse team then.
I mean,
like what?
Yeah.
Why are we bringing this up?
The 2018 Warriors had nothing to do.
What's the point?
But anyways, the point is.
I'm just saying that you think that Curry's efficiency will decrease when they have a decent defense.
I'm saying Ron Harper will do a
that's what you're trying to say.
And Phil Jackson will adapt to Curry's offense in a way that they will be able to defend them pretty well, in my opinion.
Well, Phil Jackson never seen a player
Steve
like
Kerr
Curry though.
As a coach.
I mean, okay, I'm talking about.
Yes, he has.
Steve Nash.
Okay.
Yes, he has. Even before.
Keep going, Raquel. What was that?
What about Steve Kerr as a coach, though?
Never mind.
Like he's seen like how all the Bulls play. He was on that team, so wouldn't he be able to adapt?
We could use the same argument.
Once again, that loophole is kind of.
Well, you're using Phil Jackson as a loophole too. I'm saying he's adaptable. What?
But we're not, because there's evidence that Phil Jackson.
I mean, we have evidence too that Steve Kerr knows how Steve Kerr and the Bulls play.
Oh my God! Come on now, you can't possibly use
that's
that.
not.
You can't possibly use that as a.
You can't
okay,
use
we're
that.
using okay.
Like
that means we're using Phil Jackson.
We're using
Phil Jackson. No, we're using Phil Jackson. We're using Phil Jackson as he has no idea. Like he never coached the Lakers team before, right? He's just adapting right now.
Wait, no.
He knows the rules and everything for the Cupcake League, but he never adapted to the He never had that experience with the Lakers team. That's what I'm just trying to say.
Well, when
because then we could use the same thing for Steve Kerr. Then
no. Here's the thing. We're using Phil Jackson in account of his abilities to coach. We're not using you guys.
His ability.
I mean, his abilities were created from his experience.
Yeah.
You're using
right. I mean,
no, but we're saying he's capable of adapting.
You can't deny his experience, just like you can't deny Kerr's experience when he played.
What?
I just want to say sorry, guys, for all like the interruptions and all that. We're having like a lot of technical difficulties, especially with this app. I don't know, with the internet connection, all that. So if there's like a lot of cuts and all that, sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah, but I feel like we should stop it here. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe on your YouTube channel. On our Spotify, Anchor, everything. You know, it really helps us out with all the support that we're getting. Again, it motivates us to make better, more quantity and quality. That's all we want.
Let us know who you think won the debate as well.
Oh,
definitely. I just want to say we have JaVale and the Warriors, so it's game over. Sorry, guys. GGKO. So I think we already know who won the 17 Warriors. But comment down below any suggestions, comments.
We got MJ with spacing, but okay.
And also comment what you thought of our top 10s list. We'll be posting that on Instagram.
You guys
shortly
can
after
also
this
roast
podcast
Raquel all you want in the comments down below.
You
Everywhere.
can also talk about how Wilt's freaking overrated as
Okay.
As long as you comment, just comment down below.
Like. Thank you, guys.
I won't be afraid to talk to you guys in the comments too. So
yes.
Be prepared because I'm coming.
Thank you guys for joining us. And yeah, have a blessed day. Peace out, guys.
Peace.
See you guys.
See you.